Now, I wanted to finish by giving you some of my favorite books that have helped me with this mindset of finding the magic in the everyday. First, these are in no particular order. First is Intuitive Witchcraft by Astrea Taylor. I love this book so much. It is one of my favorite concepts of magic beyond the physical tool. As witches and earth beings, of course, we love our physical tools, don't get me wrong, but there's so much. If you are someone who's needing to practice your visualization work, practicing strengthening your intuition, this inner trust, etc., Intuitive Witchcraft by Astrea Taylor, I cannot recommend it enough. Next, I love A Box of Magic by my witchcraft mentor, Della. Jamie's approach to witchcraft and magic is so beautifully represented by so many of the concepts that I brought up in our episode today, of this beautiful bridging this path of our ancestors and our modern world. She helps teach you the reverence and the respect to give magic and ceremony and help leave the overthinking and way high self-imposed pressure behind. So it's such a great book, especially for beginners. But I read it long after not being a beginner witch anymore, and I got tons of value out of her book. It really, really helped with my own confidence and belief around my relationship to magic and my inner power. Next is Your Radiant Soul by Prune Harris. So I don't know that Prune Harris would necessarily identify as like a witch or a pagan. Prune is an energy worker, and her approach to our soul body, our emotional body, our energetic fields is, I love it. There are visuals in her book. There are exercises in her book. She gives not only her own experiences and like how she visualizes these things, but helps you stay open to your unique understanding so that, again, you don't feel like you're having to copy how somebody else sees all of this if it doesn't feel that way or doesn't show up for you that way. She helps open you up to these concepts so you can develop your own unique understanding of the multiple layers of energies in our world and doing really, really healing soul work. Talk about the mind, body, into soul connection. I love Your Radiant Soul for that so much. Next is actually technically a book about business, but I'm still going to recommend it here. It is called Regenerative Business by Samantha Garcia. This book is very popular and famous among spiritual service providers and spiritual professionals for a reason. Honestly, I think that this book is so universal, even beyond an entrepreneur or someone who owns their own business. I think that her concepts are so valuable and universal enough for just any and all of us that just have a career, that have to work, that have a life-work balance, that have to take our spiritual beliefs and find a way for our career and work life and responsibilities to fit into that. And that's what regenerative business has very, very much been for me. I love it for this. It is totally transforming how I show up to my business and helping me very much rewire what I've been conditioned to believe a business owner and entrepreneur has to look like. And it is, oh my God, my abundance mindset has like expanded tenfold since reading this book. It seriously, I cannot recommend it enough. Again, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You could totally reframe some of the things that she talks about for just career and livelihood and professional type work in general. Next is The Little Work by Durgadas, Allon, Duriel. I'm so sorry. I really, really love this person. I've always followed you on Instagram and I love your work. And I'm very sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. The Little Work is exactly what it sounds like. And it is this practical, simplified no to low pressure approach, it's really exactly what we talked about in this whole episode today. It's this opening ourselves up and showing up to connection, to the magic, and being open to seeing it and being open to working with it. And it's a wonderful, wonderful way for anyone wanting to practice daily witchcraft and spirituality without feeling like they're putting something on their to-do list or they're putting pressure or expectations on themselves to do so. And finally is The House Witch by Arin Murphy-Hiscock. Now, The House Witch, if you haven't heard of it, you may have heard of her other book called Green Witch. And she has one more called The Witch's Book of Self-Care. Honestly, all three of them are amazing. I recommend all of them. Here's why I specifically put House Witch on here. This is super helpful for this animism thing, especially when it comes to the energies and the spirits within your home. And this is one of the best places to start really developing these beliefs and these philosophies yourself. The more you nurture that animism and that belief in the magic and the everything here at home, the more it blossoms and radiates outside of the walls of your home. So house magic in general is a wonderful place to start. Her book is this great, simple, not overwhelming, but still very informative and effective way of approaching housework as a witch, especially if you never have before. So I hope that I kind of overloaded you in the best way. I hope that you're feeling like you're walking away today with some inspiration, with an armful of resources, maybe feeling a little more seen and understood, especially if you struggle and any of your beliefs, like really, really feeling aligned with your beliefs in this magical thing. I know how it feels to feel called to it, to know you're practicing the right path, and then doing the things and feeling like, is this silly? Does this stuff even work? Crap, am I a shitty witch if I even have these self-doubt questions? You are so not alone. It is not just a common occurrence, it's a necessary part of the process. And again, those of you that are really, really prioritizing developing your lifestyle as a modern, cosmic, seasonal living witch in a very anti-magical world, we would love to have you over at that witch school. If you sign up before March 31st, you can lock in your membership rate for life. You can join us as early as this coming Saturday for our total lunar eclipse shadow work group, which I'm sure will feel so nice. It always does. It always feels so nice and supportive having shadow work group to look forward to in the middle of eclipse season. I'll tell you that much. I absolutely love it personally. And I know my students do as well. Again, if you have any questions on our episode today, that witch school, anything happening in our witchy neighborhood, I am always just a DM or a message away. You can hit me up on Instagram at thatwitch.nextdoor. You can send me a message at thatwitchnextdoor.com/conjurethatwitch. You can join me in that witch school by going to thatwitchschool.com. And please, if you loved this episode, if you learned something, if you know another fellow witch, practitioner, pagan that could benefit from what we talked about today, I would be so grateful if you would share today's episode with them and help us continue growing our witchy neighborhood here.